Hey everybody, I hope all is well. Look on the screen, you see what's up. Unfortunately, the title reads A Single Mother of Two Evicted from Home. But you know what? I have learned there are some people they don't get evicted. It will more than likely, they can't guarantee much in life, but one thing, they don't get evicted. So let me go ahead before we get to the real deal Holyfield, and where it's not fun, but we need to have the conversation. At least that's how I feel. But hey, I love me some Drew Sidora. I love her. Oh my God. I don't like Ralph, but I love Drew Sidora. So, y'all know how I do. I'm always at home and I'm always singing, so it takes a special kind of person to live with me. Any moment, something will just come out. Okay, not the best singer, but hey, I sing good enough for me. And sometimes it's not about having a great note. It could be entertaining. Remember that guy, she bang. I sound better than she bang. And she bang singing that song. Oh Lord, just nationwide. But yo, here's what I want to talk about. Eviction. So here's my little homemade jingle. All right, here we go. Hey, ready? Another homemade jingle. You know how we do.
Well, now that I got your attention, watch you work it out fitness. You about to get the business. Let's discuss evictions. Ooh, when I look back at it, it all stems from your mom and daddy. Really, you should already know. No, you should already know that it's yours. Should already know. No, guess what? It comes from your mom and daddy. Hey, daddy. Your mom and daddy. Hey, daddy. Your mom and daddy. Hey, daddy. Your mom and daddy. Hey, mama. And your daddy.
Okay, y'all. My little corny jingle. Yay! I clap for myself. Yay! Okay, but real talk. I feel that way. Some will say, "Oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. That happened to my daughter, my son. Well, it ain't my fault. It happened to my daughter. I didn't raise. I wasn't there. You better go see their mama." Yeah, I'm gonna stand by my jingle that I copied from the lovely Drew Sidora and her, I think it's already a hit song, You Already Know. And parents, you already know. Let's stop lying. Okay? So let's get to it. Look at this. I can't imagine, I hope I never do, all your stuff on the street. People come by and pillage. And you got to find some place else to go. But as I mentioned before, there are some people who do not get evicted, baby doll. They do not get evicted. No, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. And guess what? I don't mean everybody rich. So the people I'm going to use, this has happened to them in real life. You observe people. I saw one on the show. It was like a hoarding show. And oh my gosh, the parents had died. And here's how it went down. Besides $100,000, he got the house. Why isn't he working every day? And they said he kind of run through the money. $100,000 isn't a whole lot of money. Trust me. You get that. You're like, oh, yay, it looks so pretty in my account. I mean, let me stop. It is a lot of money. It is. But $100,000, come on. Y'all know that money can go fast. Just normal existing. I don't mean flossing, So it is a lot of money. Correct myself on that. It is a lot of money. If you want to cash out it to me, I appreciate you. But seriously, though, that's what happened. And so then I looked at that, and then I looked at some people that were very wealthy, and then middle class, everyday working people. So here's how it went down. You had either a grandmother, and in one case, it was a grandmother and, grandfather, who, of course, one-time parents. They had a house. Two of them had just like normal houses, and the people that I see, they have nice homes. Like one of the parents died, That house is valued at what, $800,000. It's moving ready, just getting rid of Meemaw's things, the mother's things. You don't need a whole lot of work at all. The house has been well maintained. The other house, I said, wow, so that one is $750,000. So guess what happened? In those cases, the kids already had their own and they were married. I know. I'm just saying it wasn't baby mama, but baby mama, this could really help us out because that's part of our culture. We cannot negate that. Guess what happened? They already had their places. Know what they did? They sold or rented theirs out. Some sold the house and moved, guess where? Into the house they inherited. The other two that were just middle class, they weren't wealthy. Come and turn out, that's not uncommon. To guess what? One person buys a house, the parents. She passes the house on down to her children, one of her kids. You're not going to believe this. They didn't just go sell it and go get me an apartment. No. Again, some were just regular houses, just regular, not fancy. Not even the middle class area. The ones I'm speaking of personally, those are very middle class areas, $750,000, $800,000, yeah. And then they had some that are like, one house is over $1 million when the parents bought it. So what happened here? When I say they never get evicted, you have people, we can't even get one generation down. Everybody has to start over. That's why you cannot build well, okay? Your JOB ain't going to get it for you. You have people who have properties, and guess what? They are passing those properties down to a third generation. Grandparents. I know a guy has a business. He's like, oh, yeah, my grandmother. So you've had this for how? You got to be kidding me. Been in business for over 100 years, and guess what? His grandmother. They're still working in that business today. I doubt they'll be mistreating themselves. Still working in that business today. Little boo and cooter, redneck style. But I tell you one darn thing, he does a good job at what he does. Does a good job, reasonable. He's on it. I'm just going to tell you, he's on it. And he's straight up redneck. But his customer base, that right there, he does a good job, reasonable price. And I haven't had a bad experience with him yet, and I've known him for a couple of years. So they're passing down businesses, not one generation, down to a third generation. So imagine the parents buy a house, then the kids grow up in that house, then somebody turns around and gives it to the next generation. The next generation stays there. Then that person dies out, they give it to their kids. So I'm like, so you have a house in my mind. That's your grandmother's house, and your mama and your daddy raised you here, and then now you're in the house. 3 generations in a house. See, the banks can't make money off you like that. What interest? You only have to pay the taxes and the insurance. That's it. All you have to pay are the taxes and the insurance. So it's not going to be any, you went ahead and sold that, then the bank get a whole new down payment, and property generally increases with time, get a whole new down payment and find somebody else with another interest rate sold all over again. Imagine how many times the house is sold over and over and over again. Think about the money exchanging hands to the bank. New person on there. We got somebody else about the house now. Passing down houses. 3 generations of people stand there passing down houses. Yeah. So with that happening, they don't get evicted. Passing down businesses, a 100-year-old business, and it's still in the family. But see, here's the deal. We don't want to sacrifice. I want you to take a look at this article, okay? So keep in mind what I said. I'm like, wow, 3 generations. Then I look at the second generation. Oh, no, we're going to move into his mom's house. I'm like, come check it out. I was like, wow, it's a really nice house. Oh, yes. Professionals. This is not going to happen to them. And also, too, they have an understanding. This is not going to be them, boo-boo. Now, think about it. Let's just say I'm going to give a real low amount. Let's just say you decide to do that if you're blessed enough for that to happen. And for us, it'll be a super deluxe blessing because, Lord, we don't operate that way. But we're not going to even go there. Let's just say, easily, if doing that and you stay there 30 years, $500 a month. And you may fix up and do all that. $500 a month. We already know $500 a month times 12 months is, a big $6,000. So $6,000, if you calculate $6,000 times 30 years, you're looking at $180,000 cash. I don't know who in the hell can have a house that's basically free and you can't pay $500 a month. Now you're going to have taxes and insurance. $500 a month. That time 30 years is $180,000. So when that person dies, let's just say just common sense, to their offspring, they can go ahead and leave the house. Let's just say if it's half the money. Okay, your turn. Here's the house and here's $90,000 if it's just half the money. If you just save, $250 a month. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, hell, it can't be done. And that's the problem. Because you don't see it, you don't think it, you don't believe it. Well, seeing is believing. And I see it. They don't get evicted. When people can think like that, they don't get evicted. When they can have an understanding, okay, common sense, dust free, and keep it in the family, they don't get evicted. A friend of mine, her husband, one of my friends, her husband was telling me, and I was like, you got to be kidding. You got to be kidding me. On his side, the elderly died, and we don't do a will because we just let stuff happen. We're not. I love us, but the majority of us, we're not serious people. We're not business, and it's just life, common sense. We're not serious people like children. Well, they'll figure it out. Yeah, and how is that working out? So her husband, he told me. He said we were chilling. He said, yeah. He said, so so this person died and left a little house, but it's on some acreage. What you think happened? The tax bill came due. Of course, the person didn't leave a will. Tax bill came due. None of the Negroes want to pitch in on the taxes. It needs a little repair. None of the Negroes want to do that. So I'm like, what's going to happen? It's probably going to go to the tax man. So there's no paperwork. Again, we don't handle business as a collective. We are not serious people like little children. Well, they had to figure that out. So it's like, well, if they don't pay the taxes, and I understand his point. He's like, he wouldn't mind paying the taxes, but nobody wants to pitch in. And then why sit up there and get yourself on a hook for paying taxes? Then you're like, let's try to get some paperwork going. You can't get the Negroes to cooperate on anything. Everybody's stupid. So everybody wants something for free. Everybody's waiting on somebody else. I said, wow, you're stuck in a rock and a hard place. And he was like, I just don't trust it. I'm like, maybe it's try to get an attorney. Everybody's waiting on somebody else to go ahead and pay the taxes. And then what? I would have saw this happen. Then move in. Told a friend of mine, I said, don't do it. Oh, you're not. I said, that house is not legally yours. Oh, she done put in a bathroom, honey. You think you at the Westin. You think, no, Waldorf. I'm like, damn. Girl. Woo. You done went Waldorf Astoria on them. You done really put some money down, huh? 4 Seasons? Just on a bathroom. From floors then. Yep, did all that fix up with family. I don't care if it's your mama, because that's a different video, but I'm not going to talk about that today. We're going to keep it positive. We might talk about that on Patreon. I might get in my feelings. But anyway, she did that, and then next thing you know, after putting I'm like, I know it's your family, I know it's your mom. Next thing you know, she done put the money in it, put some money in it, had some serious work done. All of a sudden, she's out in an apartment. Ain't nobody putting in money for a whole new bathroom and floors. It's granddaddy's house, and I'm gonna stay there. She's no longer there. She moved out. She moved in with a fiance, But I knew that was going to happen. We're not serious people, and everybody wants to get over. See, people, I have to tell you, the majority of society, they get over on Black people every day. And so instead of saying, hey, I'm going to make better decisions, I'm not going to allow myself to be taken advantage of, our people try to flip the script and then get over on somebody else that looks like them. That's my opinion. That's what I've noticed. So yeah, so people like this here, they understand business. That there's no nonsense. It's not going to be, well, the house was left to Jimbo because he does getting out of jail, and I had to see, make sure it's somewhere to go. I have a friend who was quite wealthy, and he got they got PWT in their family too, Boo and Cooter. And somebody said, "Oh, so and so's in town." He said, and tell him not to call me. And it was like, wow, why was that? Because the person just starts trouble. Yeah, a person is in town visiting, looking for a place for a new start. Why? You've messed up so at home and getting in trouble with the law. And I don't mean no profiling. They ain't profiling Billy. They got Billy. I'm 9.9. He did that stuff. He did that He did that shit. Mm-hmm. Why? They know he's a problem. They're not going to let you into their lives. So you have to think that way. But see, our group, especially we are led by a matriarch who seems to really, the mammies seem to really understand and sympathize with a dust bucket man. They really do. They will sympathize. Well, I left the home to Jimbo because he's getting out of jail, and I want to make sure that space to stay. And I got with my daughters, and I asked them to make sure you pay the taxes and insurance, keep it in the family. But why would I do that? I'm not going to be staying there. Well, we got to make sure. No, we don't. A person said something to me recently, and I was taken aback. I said, wow, what are you going to tell them? And the them was African American people. I kind of felt some kind of way. He says, nothing. Like, you're not going to tell them anything? He says, no. I said, well, you can comment. I said, no. He says, no. He said, because they don't make the right decisions. Wow. He said, yeah. Dealt with them before. They don't make the right decision. And I know how people get, I don't need you telling me nothing. And I figured that's probably what he was afraid to deal with. Don't make the right decisions. And we don't. Check this out. That's why I say, your mom and your daddy. This is an old Jewish story. It says this is the story in the Midrash of an old guy. It's called, let me scroll up in case you guys want to read it for yourselves. The Old Man and the Fig Tree. Okay, the Old Man and the Fig Tree. This is the name of the story. All right, it says, I'm just going to read part of it so you can get the message. The reason why I say what I say in the jingle, okay, your mommy and daddy. There's a story in the Midrash of an old guy observed planting a fig tree. When asked if he really expected to live long enough to consume the fruits of his labor, he replied, quote, I was born into a world flourishing with ready pleasures. My ancestors planted for me, and I now plant for my children. What Dr. Clay Anderson say? Black kids are growing up doing what? Inheriting dust. Black kids do what? Inherit dust. Is he lying? See, we can't get around this concept. That's why I said in the jingle, now that I look back at it, it starts with your mom and daddy. And I mean that. We all make decisions, and it starts with your mom and daddy. Nobody asked to be here. Why should baby mama? Because that's the culture, and the daddy was not there to show otherwise, and neither was the mom. And guess what? The one before them, but I know how we are. I know how this group is. What? We are not known forever in life. We are not going to be wrong, so we're going to go ahead and continue on being dumb Kiki and little TT Jones. Little TT, Terrible Tyrone. We're going to keep on going on. We're not going to be wrong. Again, there was a story in Midrash of an old guy observed planting a fig tree. When asked if he really expected to live long enough to consume the fruits of his labor, he replied, I was born in a world flourishing with ready pleasures. My ancestors planted for me, and I now plant for my children. So when I'm seeing these people here, I'm like, Shazam! When I'm seeing these people here, sitting up, and then you see why 3 generations, grandmother or for grandfather died, they both died, and then left it to their kid, and then it left to me. 3 generations they're planting for them. But we don't want to do that. No. We've even had the so-called rich Negro with it, Steve Harvey, and someone told me Shaq said the same thing, which I would be surprised. But I shouldn't be. Again, that's what someone told me. I can't confirm or deny. He gonna spend it all. Me and my wife, me and their mom gonna spend it all. That is some NE. That is some super deluxe ignorant Negro economics. That's some NE if I ever heard of anything. We gonna spend it all. And you wonder why. What's that guy that was Teddy Pendergrass? I read about that. He was like a 1980s singer, Teddy Pendergrass. And his son, they said, came up with a fake will. And everything was left to his wife. Then I thought about that. What's that thing? I mean, what's that man, Dr. Dre? Because he gave his daughter, the first daughter, $100,000. Negro, that ain't nothing. $100,000. You're like you doing something. Big wood. Sure, it's a nice amount of money, but for how long? What you think you doing? Nickel and diamond, 5 and 10,000 here? Ooh, oh my. Hell, boyfriends will do that. That's got something like you really doing something. Oh my. Black people don't want to plan for their children. Everybody's for themselves. And that's why you can't be with, because everybody got to start over. I had to tell you, I've had friends, I told you before. Oh, need to get this done. Remember I told y'all the deal, it was too fun. I wanted to do something. I said, they're going to want $400,000. I don't have that $400,000. And so what did Becky come up with? She's like, oh, you thinking about it? You can sue. Anybody can sue trying to get the money. I was like, wow, I don't really think that way, you know. Then I've had people that I know. Oh, I'll go ahead and write the check for you. I got you $100,000. Hey, I know you were seeing one do this here. You might want to take this profit out. I'll go ahead. Whoa, slow down. And at the time I had my own, I guess they were trying to match and help me out $100,000, but I didn't have $400,000. No, I didn't have that. But yeah, planning. He already said when he was born into a world flourishing with ready pleasures. Dr. Clay Anderson said, time the white kids come into the world, and it is what it is. Child, they got most of them. Somebody's dying, generation. So when I look at this, I'm like, dang, 3 generations. So 3 generations of, and houses kept up, even as the regular one. 3. So imagine if you stayed there now. And it's change. Oh, by the way, these people have wills. It ain't just get somebody and call, ain't so and so, and you quote stay there. Then I get down like that. They have wills. It's named out. It's named out. Even if it's more than one kid, well, hell, you can go ahead and say, hey, not to exceed rent, and put a certain amount in, and then whoever wants to stay there, keep it in the family. And then the others who can get paid. What is that? Planting. So you wonder why I said, you already know. You should already know. It's your mom and daddy. They're not planning for you. That's it. You start your own, ain't nobody planning for me, and that's our problem. That's why I love us for real, but Blackistan, that's not for me. That's not for me. When things were getting hard, I mean, I kid you not. It's just not the thinking pattern. That's why when I hear Negroes coming up with, oh, I want to do something for my child. Yeah, whatever. But I ain't trying to hear it. It's so hard for these fools to get life insurance. I'm like, what's so doing? That's why I said the GoFundMe. That's supposed to be like for an emergency if something happened. But every time it's the norm. He got shot. GoFundMe. She got. GoFundMe. The cheering got. Oh Lord, it's. Now, kids, I can kind of see, but you got adults. Friend of mine, she died unexpectedly. And hardworking Black woman, she's done quite well for herself. And because she's done well for herself, it was too many on the check. She was taking care of, besides herself, her son, helping a daughter and a grandbaby. So you got 4 people on one check. And when she passed away, unfortunately, guess what? They were all still at home with her. And I thought to myself, so what are you going to do now? Is this when you finally pull yourself up by your bootstraps? What are you going to do now? Even if she had life insurance, it could be just an amount like $200,000. How long that's going to last? I thought about it. Why is he? I thought, why he's still? You were there 4 years. You haven't left yet. And she told me about the finances. She planned for them. But at some point, you're going to have to go ahead and do something. Who planned it for her? Nobody. Nobody. In a marriage, the husband is supposed to plan for you. In case something happens, you can go ahead and survive, still make it. Hey, they should plan in case we don't want anything to happen. But if it does happen, you sure won't be worried about what am I going to do. You may have to downsize to one place if you got an extra house. You shouldn't have to even do that. But yeah, planting. And this is why people that plant, they're serious people. They understand life is business. It's not about just a good time, be old with no money and talk about, I was on my IG and I sure was flossing. And I was renting, so I was renting for 45 years. I heard someone's relative, I know them, that said that. I was like, wow. So she stayed in that house over 30 years and was renting. I couldn't believe it. So when I say what I say, that's what I mean. I see it. I'm like, wow. So you move into this house. That's what they're doing. Some houses now, the elderly are dying. There's no for sale sign. It's not going to be. And sometimes, too, with high real estate, they don't always put a for sale sign. They don't always do that. They'll just, it could be in the MLS or in a pocket listing. So sometimes in real estate, they don't, have a house that's $15 million and a for sale sign out there. No, a lot of times they don't. And it's not going to be, I want to go in there and see. Sweetie, you're going to need that. You're going to need your little letter. Proof of funds. No one's going to be showing you no multi-million-dollar house. They don't know you from a can of paint. They're going to want to see that you're approved for that amount or something, a broker or somebody. But this here. Last time, when he asked if he was observed planting a fig tree, when asked if he really expected to live long enough to consume the fruits of his labor, he replied, quote, I was born into a world flourishing with ready pleasures. My ancestors planted for me, and I now plant for my children. And when you do that, you don't have this. When you do that, you very rarely have this. That's what love looks like, people. This right here, the old man in the fig tree, this is what love looks like. This is what love looks like. So in close, let me know what you all think. We're going to end with the jingle. So now you understand what I'm saying, what I say. You look back at it, mom and daddy, and the ones before them. So sometimes we have to stop, pump the brakes, rethink things, do things over, do things a little differently. My grandmother, she planted for my dad. Sure as heck did. My grandmother planted for my dad when it was time to put her into an elderly place. She couldn't qualify for anything state because you had to be considered indigent. So they had to take other measures. But she planted for my dad. That's one way my parents got into real estate. She planted for my father. Yeah. That's what love looks like. Money in the bank, property. He had an inheritance. My father had an inheritance. That's what love looks like. So in closing, one more time for the little homemade jingle. Something to think about. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share, and I'm out. Homemade jingle time, y'all.
Oh my God, I make myself laugh. But for real, for real.
Let's go ahead and get with the homemade jingle. But yeah, nobody planned for you. And when they don't plan for you, we have this. A mother of two evicted from her home.
Hey. Ready? Another homemade jingle. You know how we do. Well, now that I got your attention, why don't you work it out, fitness? You about to get the business. Let's discuss evictions. Ooh, you know when I look back at it, it really stems from your mom and daddy. Really, you should already know. No, you should already know that it's yours. Should already know. No, guess what? It comes from your mom and daddy. Hey, daddy, daddy. Your mom and daddy. Hey, daddy, daddy. Your mom and daddy. Hey,
For real,
daddy,
y'all.
daddy.
You know,
your mom and daddy. Hey, mama, and your daddy.